Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some news tonight out of the Carolinas, where Carowinds has continued their teaser campaign over the past week, sending us multiple things that may or may not be related. We've actually got three things to talk about here tonight. We've got some posters, we got a video, and we've got a very interesting poll that they posted today that lends some questions. So, Danny, I guess let's start with the earliest thing, and that is the set of posters that they've put up. So, as expected, they've now switched the campaign again, where first we saw the very ads, old style ads about the barns and all that stuff. Then we saw the stuff using the other logos from other parks and other other teaser campaigns. And now we have four new posters. One about homemade jams that I don't really understand anything in that, how it relates to any of this. There's another poster about buying scrap metal. I think the interesting part there is they use, top dollar paid for copper tubing to take us back to that Copperhead Strike name that has been trademarked, possibly. We've got another poster that says Big Mox Excavation and Building. Pole barns and sheds are a specialty. Holes dug of any size and depth. Wagons, bobsleds, and flumes. Maybe hinting towards the other type of Mack rides that they've built. Have they built bobsleds before? Yeah, at Avalanche.
The ones like the one at King's Dominion, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, Park S Streaks, Hyde Park. Those are all Mack or bobsled coasters.
And flumes as well, I suppose they've built.
I'd have to look on that.
I would assume at some point a company like them have built a flume at one point or another.
We know they do the water coasters, right? So,
true.
They do the water coasters. I don't know if they do. Let's see here. Products on the Mack Rides website now. Spin rides, roller coasters. They have water coaster, towboat ride, interactive boat ride. They've got the power coasters. What's the other one there? Wagons.
I'm not so. Maybe that just means roller coaster. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure so much what wagons might mean there.
The last one is a wanted 1937 and 1940 Ford cars and parts, running or not V8 motors, especially. And then they have this logo, this V8 logo, which is the old Ford racing car logo. And if you look up a Ford race car from 37 to 40, it looks strikingly similar to the front of what Twisted Timbers looks like down at King's Dominion. So Danny, maybe what do you take out of this? Is there anything that you take away from this here?
We're still all over the place, really. However, we talked, I think it was last week, about how the teasers we were getting were sort of poking fun at other parks' previous teaser campaigns, and including their own. So the Mystic Timbers campaign, past Carowinds campaigns with Centurion and White Lightning, with the Mean Streak logo, a little bit of the Steel Vengeance in there. We've seen them poke fun at other parks in their teaser campaigns. I think that this now is kind of what we talked about. We said that they've gone through the White Lightning, which was Intimidator, and then they did a little bit from Banshee and Mystic Timbers, Steel Vengeance, and Centurion, the Fury one. So they're kind of caught up to present day. So we said now we think the next things we see will somehow be related to what the next ride at Carowinds actually is. And I think we're there. Now, it kind of depends on which camp you're in. Do you think this is Copperhead Strike? If that's the name, then we've got a little bit of the hint with the copper tubing. We're going to get to the snake thing in a minute, which was today. What was it today? It was earlier. It was early this morning. So we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. But then we've got the racing theme coming in here, which we hear might be the theme for a Magic Mountain Mack coaster, possibly. You and Dwayne talked about that last week. There's a lot. The allusion to the bobsleds, flumes. pole barns and sheds, so we're still talking about a shed, so maybe we'll see some sort of a shed here. This is kind of Carowinds' playbook here, right? I mean, with Fury, we saw two distinct themes. We saw the Fury theme and the Roman Centurion theme kind of emerge. So are we seeing the same game again where they're bouncing back and forth between two different themes? One of them is going to be the actual theme for the ride. The other will be the red herring that won't be used.
Or is it they're using both the themes? Because I think there's a theory out there that if they actually do run a shed off of this ride, that you could have a pre-show launch with copperheads in there, maybe snakes, or maybe the ride vehicles are copper. I don't know. That's the thing is, like, are they running both themes? Are they running one? Are they running the other? Are we misreading it? But I do think what you said is true, because they did post a video and they said every week they're going to give us more information. And it's a video on Granny's secret recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So this video first gave us, it says cooking time, 2 minutes and 24 seconds, and it serves 16 people. I think we're finally getting some ride stats here, Danny. So
right.
away from theme, I think we're going to get some real facts here. So 2 minutes and 24 seconds. That seems like a decent launch coaster time there, right? 16 passengers seems.
I would think so, especially if the 16 passengers. I mean, that right there is screaming Mack rides, because we've talked about how a lot of the Mack rides have done either 20 or 16. I'm looking at five cars per train on Blue Fire. So they have 20 there. Helix, just looking at Helix here.
Helix is 20.
Five cars, so that's also 20. Manta at SeaWorld San Diego, I think is the same. Yes, 20. So 16 is a little bit out there compared to what we best know. But I don't think that's necessarily needs to push us away from these. Icon, the most recent one, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, is 16, so that's 4 cars. So the Star Trek Operation Enterprise is 20. The Capital Bullet train at Motion Gate in Dubai is 20. So they have done 16 before. It's not their most common, but they have done 16 if we're talking about a Mack Rides ride like a Blue Fire, or
and maybe they're going to do something a little bit tighter, that they need the 16 that they're going to have, or they're going to do a double launch with cars racing one another. So they figure the 16 cap isn't going to hurt overall cap because you're going to have 2 cars out there. I don't know. I'm throwing ideas out there, Danny.
Well, and maybe it's much like Maverick, where the shorter train allows you to do some more aggressive transitions and gives you the opportunity to do some tighter drops, some tighter elements, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So I think every Thursday we're gonna get more real ride stats. I don't really.
What else could 16 people be? I mean, that's not a B&M. That's not a B&M at this point. A GTI with 8 cars, that's like something that's Invader size. So I don't think that's the route we're going here. The only thing that comes to mind is like a Hang Time, which has 16. Something like that. But I don't think that's what we're getting here. 16 still lines up with Mack Rides, I think, as best as anything else.
And then the last thing we saw here was today they put, this is actually just fun. I want to talk about this because I think it's hysterical. Today is apparently World Snake Day. So they asked, which snake is superior? Is it anaconda, cobra, diamondback, or mamba? And then in the next tweet, they start tagging all the other parks. They start tagging Kings Dominion
for Anaconda, Kings Island for Diamondback, and Worlds of Fun for Mamba. And then obviously they have the Flying Cobras towards the other side of the park. So that's quite funny, poking a little fun there.
And once again, it ties back into the Copperhead strike thing that we've heard about. So
yeah, I mean, I'm looking to see if any of the other parks actually replied here. I don't see any reply from any of those parks here.
No, they're all busy doing other stuff, probably, right?
Yeah, well, but this goes back to our theory from last year. that the parks are kind of referencing each other, whether they want to admit to it or not. Even if they're not working together, they're certainly referencing one another, and I think they're just doing it again here. Again, we talked about how last time we didn't think we were getting much of anything for the actual ride that's coming in 2019. We thought that they were kind of caught up with all the previous campaigns, and that the next set of teasers would start to be information about the ride and hints about the ride that we're actually getting in 2019. And I think that statement holds true. I think we're actually starting to see some things that are related to the ride, other things that are probably red herrings, but I think we are starting to get some little tidbits of information about what Carowinds is actually putting in for 2019, and there's no reason to think that they won't continue to give us a mix of real and fake things in the coming weeks here prior to an announcement.
Well, we are officially 1 month away, assuming that they announce once again on National Roller Coaster Day, which would be the 16th of August.
And I think that would be great.
So we are officially 1 month away now from maybe hearing about where all these other parks are coming in at. And shockingly, we're not hearing a whole lot of other chatter from Cedar Fair here. So Carowinds seems to be the only one squawking so far. We've kind of like dropped off with the Canada's Wonderland stuff. I don't know what's going on up there.
Yeah,
and one else.
They haven't started really much of anything, have they?
Well, besides the one poster we talked
that one
about.
poster is it.
Yeah, so who knows if anything more is going to come out from up there, and no one else has really entered the fray here. So
no,
we could only be looking at 2 major roller coasters for Cedar Fair, which would probably be more in line with what they've done in the past. I think last year with the 4. May have been the anomaly there, so.
Yeah, it was a big year. I don't think we're going to see another year quite like that in the future here, but we'll see, especially if attendance
we've been talking about Dorney, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
You need to get to Dorney to see if there's something going on over there, buddy. So.
Yeah, maybe I do, huh?
So as always, thank you for joining us here on COASTER-net Update. I'm, of course, Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York.
Right on, right, Warriors.
See you guys.